Yeah, it smells good. I'm glad you gave this to Erik. Well, I wanted to give you something special. I know that I told you I would sponsor your kids' racing habit. Just out of curiosity, so what does a junior drag racer need to race?
I mean, we're probably...
If I was a sponsor, right, how would I write you a check to you? If I said, man, I love your story, you know, I want to support your son. I want to support the cause. How would I write a check?
One thing I'm trying to teach him is, you know, you got to try to operate this as a business, because obviously you only have a certain amount of money, and you can't just go race every weekend and travel coast to coast every weekend, because every time you stop at a fuel station, it's $500 to fill up the motorhome. You know, so we have to do certain things to try to make the most out of our money. Fortunately, whenever he wins one of the big events, he gets what they call a gold card, so we get into most races for free, so we don't have to pay entry fees, which is super cool. But probably 2 years ago, we set up a actual business account for him. It's called Hulk Racing. He's on it, I'm on it, my wife's on it. So, you know, anytime he wins or whatever and he gets a check, it's just made out to Hulk Racing. Anytime a sponsor does anything, it's made out to Hulk Racing, so that way it actually goes into our race account. That's essentially what we race out of.
So if I wanted to sponsor the car, how would I sponsor the car? I know you, when I see...
Well, we just agree to, you know, kind of what the expectation is, you know. I mean, we got, obviously, the run decals, shirts, hats, your logos on the side of our trailer, social media, stuff like that. I mean, we're not experts at it. We try to do the best we can, you know. I would say that we probably need to improve in some of that area, but, you know, we do try our best. We send out thank you cards and usually send out a Christmas swag pack and stuff like that to kind of help out with some of that. But, you know, I mean, any dollar we get, we either try to put it towards racing, or we do something like, you know, the quick detailer and the air freshener you have there. Like, we'll try to figure out how to take $1 and turn that $1 into $10. So what can we do to kind of help grow some of that? So, you know, this is kind of a brand that we had came up with. It's called Hulk Spray and Hulk Odor Smasher. It's a quick detailer for cars, and it's a air freshener.
Oh, I'm glad you gave this to Erik. He's a stinky dude. He's stinky.
So, you know, we bought those, and then he sells those for $15 a bottle.
So where could I find this?
Right now, just through us. We haven't...
Through your Facebook page?
Yeah, through our Facebook page. Yeah, we don't have a website or anything like that yet. We're about to try to kick that off and do a lot more with it, and maybe get a website going, maybe Amazon, stuff like that. And if you actually read on the back of the label, it'll tell you
Hulk Industries, baby.
Hulk Industries, that is exactly right. And then it'll also tell you
how it's going to kill you.
Down at the bottom it says, thank you for your support. With every purchase you help support my junior dragster racing program.
Oh, nice.
So we put that on every bottle. So, I mean, any dollar that we actually make off this stuff actually does go back into his race program.
Well, let's smell it.
It's Hawaiian Breeze.
Yeah, it smells good. It smells like kind of like a pina colada or something.
It does smell good. It's like you're at the beach.
But I'm glad you gave this to Erik.
But, I mean, we try to teach him, and, you know, of course every kid wants to go professional or pro in whatever sport it is, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, racing, or whatever. But, you know, I do truly feel like that is his ultimate dream, is to be a professional race car driver and do all that stuff. But, you know, he's got to understand that there are certain things he's got to do along the way to do it, because it's obviously not free. So we try to teach him that it costs money. He didn't really necessarily understand that at 7 and 8 years old, but now he's 13 and he kind of understands.
What is, I mean, just out of curiosity, you know, my son did travel baseball, and now he's doing travel lacrosse, and my daughter did, you know, English riding, horse riding. You know, you're renting the horse and paying the lessons. I mean, just out of curiosity, so what does a junior drag racer need to race?
What does he need? Well,
like, what does it cost a year to race? Move that big old diesel pusher you have around.
If we race the way we want to race, I mean, we're probably $15,000 to $20,000 a year.
Damn.
Yeah, and most of that expense is,
and that's not even counting your time. That's not counting working on your own cars. And
I mean, it's torn apart right now. Tonight, I got to put it back together so we can race on Saturday. But I mean, there's a lot that goes into it whenever we race the way we want. And I mean, here's the thing, it's not always about win or losing, but at this point in time, we want to do it because we want to win. So you're only as good as the amount of time you put into it, and we put a lot of time into it. Cam does a lot of things off track as far as practice tree. And
how do you practice racing?
So basically, the biggest thing is the majority of our races at this age group that he's in is one on the tree, which is the starting line. So the big Christmas tree, yellow, 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 green. It's all about reaction time. So that's really where he focuses on. The car is going to be the car. He can drive the car. I'm confident in his driving on the big end of the racetrack. But, if he misses a tree up front and he's 70, 80 on the tree, more than likely he ain't turning on the wind light. If he can live in that 20 to 50 range, he's got a very good chance. So he has to basically work on consistency, hand-eye coordination, anything hand-eye coordination. Just so that way when he sees it, he hits it. Sees it, hits it. Now, obviously, he's hitting the gas with his foot, not his hand, but it's kind of the same effect. So, I mean, he just has some different exercises and stuff like that he does to really do it. And he has a simulator at home that he...
How many hours a day does he practice?
Probably... On the practice tree and stuff like that in the shop, probably 30 minutes a day. But I usually have him do it twice a day. I have him do it in the morning and then I have him do it in the evening.
That's a lot.
Yeah, the morning and the evening. The reason in the morning is because we race. Sometimes the race days are long. Obviously, he's a lot fresher. His eyes are better in the morning. But then I also want him hitting it in the evening time, too, after he's already been through.
He's ate dinner. He's tired.
Yes, he's tired. I want him to hit it again because we race at night.
So what is not to get in detail, but I always get interested in kids' sports because that's a big industry. We talk about business and entrepreneurship. I mean, anything with youth, anything nowadays is multi-billions of dollars.
Right.
And it's almost bigger than the professional side of things just because of the mass volume of kids.
Right.
How old is Camden?
13.
13. So he's about to get a driver's license.
3 years.
I'm assuming when you get your own driver's license, you can race the fast of the fast.
Yeah, you can move up to a big car.
So, and that's probably his dream, to move up to the big car.
Right.
Which is big money.
Which is bigger money, yes.
Right? But with his reputation and his winning history, etc., he's probably going to have an opportunity, potentially.
Hope.
Yeah, but you're talking about how fast do those cars go?
Well, I mean, depends on if you race pro mod. You're going right now, he's 85 miles an hour. If he goes into a pro mod, he's 220 to 250 mile an hour.
You wreck that thing, you're dead.
Yeah, well, the safety gear is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
At 200 miles an hour?
Yeah.
So
that's why you got to make sure you have the right safety gear, you got the right car, you got the right gear, you got the right crew, you got all that stuff, and all that stuff costs money.
Yeah, and you're traveling around still trying to make a living. You had your container business before this. You had your dumpster business before that. You went through a tragic event.
Right.
All this time, the consistent thing has been kind of the race. Obviously, you stepped it up, to get your mind off of the tragic event that's happened. But now it's become a blessing and your passion. You got remarried. She's into it. What's the odds of you finding another partner that was into racing, that understands racing? And now you have this career. They allow you to race. You sold your company. And the craziest thing is your largest customer is Walmart.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you, if you watch our podcast, we always say don't burn bridges.
Right.
Because when you burn bridges, it never ends well, right?
Right.
So you left Walmart, I'm assuming, on very good terms.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then you've been servicing Walmart, built that trust with Walmart. You built a whole career around not just working for them, but working as a vendor for them that supported you through a lot of different business lines. And for you that have never worked for Walmart or any other big retail center, they got a lot of smart people, and they're not afraid to make changes really quickly.
That's right.
And you have to be willing to adapt. You have to be willing to make those changes with them. You got to be willing to somewhat trust them.
Yep.
And for somebody that's worked with Walmart for a long time, and you got to learn how to build through their system. there's so many different variables when you work for these big institutions. But the neat thing about yours is you really didn't go after any other customers besides Walmart. Like your Walmart was your staple.
Right.
And it made you successful.
Correct.
Which is crazy to me. Because you hear about, for me, I've been in the container industry. I'm in the rental industry. I went after everybody.
Right.
And still to this day, your sole focus is Walmart. I mean, you focus on other customers. But
when I own the company, yeah. Now with, the company I work for, we're going after everything. And I see it now that, man, there are more fish out there other than just Walmart. But, whenever you're a small-time company, and then you limited resources, it's always easy to focus it all on one resource, and a resource that ultimately pays well and then is a household name.
But listen to this, folks. Watch this. How many containers do you lease out to Walmart? What's your estimated container? It's in the thousands.
3,000.
3,000. So a container, it's 80 or 8 foot wide by 40 foot. The shipping container you see on the big vessels going across the ocean.
Yeah.
3,000 containers to Walmart. It takes a semi load to deliver, and it takes a semi to pick it up. Yeah. So that's 6,000 semi loads every year. 6,000 semi loads.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys leased out containers from On Call, and that just goes to show you don't have to hate your competitors.
Right.
You know what I mean? You guys have, not only are we friends, we're competitors, and we helped you guys out. Walmart's not our focus.
Right.
You guys needed some containers. I would have probably never leased them out to Mobile Box if you're watching this. If it wasn't Chad Teel, but Chad called me. He built that relationship and that report. We have a good relationship. I said, yeah, I'm going to help you out. I had him sitting on the yard, not making any money. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're a better salesman than me, but and we leased him out to you, and I think we're actually
still delivering them today.
We're still delivering as we speak, right behind us.
Yeah.
So you don't have to really diversify. That's one thing I've learned. I diversify because I'm ADD and I like doing a lot of different things. But in all reality, you can, you're how old now?
40.
You're 40.
Yeah. I feel it every day.
So you're 40 years old. Over your career, how long have you worked for Walmart? You said 20. You said what? How old? When did you start working for Walmart in the store?
When I was 18.
18 to 40. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So, well, I wanted to give you something special. I know that I told you I would sponsor your kids' racing habit and Hulk racing. So, there is a deal from us to you. So, hopefully that helps out Camden and his racing career to push him forward.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And Chad's been a good friend of mine for a long time, so we wish Camden the best. I always told Camden I don't sponsor losers. So he has to keep on winning.
Yeah.
And thank you for the hat. And for you watching our podcast, I mean, not a lot of people has had their wife die and had to pull the plug on their son. But in the end of the day, he continued on. He continued to push. He continued to be positive. He continued to do what a man needs to do and supply, a living for his kid. In his case, his kid pulled him out of a dark area. I mean, what a cool story than that. Right. Not very often a father gets to say their son is their hero.
Right.
Right? In your case, you get to do that. And then along the way, you develop, you continue to race, and it became a little bit more important. It was your out, and now you're teaching them life lessons of how to sell detail equipment and sponsor this and turning it into a business and all of a positive impact. And now you're my competitor. But it's okay. But we want Camden to be successful on the racetrack. We want him to...
I appreciate it.
To continue to be a positive influence out there, because I've met Camden a few times in my life, and every time I've been around him, he's been very respectful and humble. I can't say at 9 and 10 and 12 years old and I'm winning world titles, I'd be as humble as he is. Because if you ever seen the guy on the racetrack or walking around, you would never know he's winning like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of that's probably because the way he was brought up. So you keep on watching our podcast. If you're at this stage in the point in the podcast, you know, what would be one thing that you learned over all those experiences? You know, what would be one key lesson you'd want to give to our audience? You know, you've been through a lot. You know, you tried a lot of different things. You know, sold companies, built companies, power wash, detail.
I mean, honestly, for me, I would just say, you know, try to, no matter what or what you go through, just try to keep your priorities right. You know, God and faith, and then family, and then I think if with hard work and determination, the rest of it's going to work itself out. You know, I know that's easy to say, and it's hard to believe that, but I do actually feel like, you know, man, if I stay committed to those things, then things are going to consistently work out, and try to push. And then, like you said, man, just, you know, it's not just because somebody's your competitor don't mean they can't be your friend. I mean, I feel like I got to where I am with a lot of things is because of relationships. So you got to treat those relationships like they're gold, you know, like Walmart relationships. Because if it wasn't for those relationships that I had with Walmart, then probably would have never got the start of where I was to go to where I am to even do what I'm doing now. So probably just faith, family, and racing.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It helps Josh and I reach more people to hear more stories to help the entrepreneur. Appreciate it.